Hey friends, well, so today I'm showing you how to glue amigurumis together. I had shown some amigurumis that I had done a little while ago, and someone asked me if I would show how I used hot glue. And so that's what this video is really about, but I'm using Magnolia and Boudreaux to help me show the amigurumis today. So I made Magnolia a unicorn, and I made Boudreaux a horse. And the book that I got the unicorn out of is Repeat Crafter Me's Critter book, and I will leave a link to that in the description box below. And so I had made her that unicorn, and I wanted to make him something, and so I made him the horse. There was not a horse pattern, so I just used the unicorn pattern and just left off the horn and then did the hair different and the tail different. But otherwise it's the same pattern, and so they each have a little stuffed animal. So a lot of people ask me if Boudreaux and Magnolia are twins, and technically I didn't have them as twins. When I got real sick at the beginning of this year, and it was in between some of my surgeries that I had, my son got Magnolia for me and surprised me with her at one of my hospital visits. And so I just loved her, and I loved that he bought her for me, and so that was very special. And so she does have a special place in my heart because of that. And I had her for a little while, and I just, enjoyed posing her and taking photos of her since she's a larger doll. She's 28 inches, and she wears a size 18 months to even some 2 toddler shirts. And so I just enjoyed her and had a lot of fun with her. And then later on, my husband wanted to get me a doll, and so he was looking for a doll the same size as her because he knew that I really enjoyed, posing her and having fun with her, and I would take her different places with us and, jump out and take pictures. Well, not really jump, but ease my way out of the vehicle and take some pictures of her different places and such. And so he got me the boy doll, and I named him Boudreaux because we are in Louisiana. And so Magnolia and Boudreaux are kind of Louisiana-themed names. So that's how they got their names. So Boudreaux is also a 28-inch doll, and he wears size 18 months, 24 months, and I believe the shirt he has on right now is a 2 toddler. His pants are blue jeans, and I got him some 18-month pants, and I could not get them on him. So I went to Once Upon a Child, which is a children's clothing resale store, and so I found him those pants for $3, little blue jeans, and 2 toddler, and so those fit him. But they are kind of snug in the waist because he's very thick, and she is too. And then his boots also came from Once Upon a Child, the little cowboy boots, and they're a size 4. Her sandals are a size 3, and then another day I was at a thrift store, and I found his hat, and it didn't have a tag on it, and there was a guy who just put it out, was putting some other stuff out. I said, "Hey, how much is this hat?" And he said, "All hats are $2. And I said, "All hats?" And he said, "Yeah, every hat's $2. So he's like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, yeah. And so I was able to get him that cowboy hat. And so, anyway, saying all that, I got distracted there. As I didn't originally have them as twins, because, I got them at totally different times, and I didn't even, get them. There was, my son got one of them, my husband got one of them. So twins was not on my radar with them. But since they are the same size and they go together very well, I'm going to go ahead and start them as twins from now on. And so, that's why I kind of made a unicorn for her. She likes unicorns. and then a horse for him because he likes horses. And so that's the story of Magnolia and Boudreaux. And I wanted to share their amigurumi stuffies that I made for them. And then I was just at the, next part of this video is showing how I put his horse together. Because I had made her unicorn first. And so I just used hot glue gun. And you'll see in the video. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all watching. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And blessed day to you. Thank you. Okay, friends, someone asked me to do a video showing how I use the hot glue on the amigurumis so they could see that in action, and so that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to be using various needles and stick pins and such to hold my pieces on as I, get ready to glue them. So I'm just going to get started. This is a horse, and I'm going to do the head part first. So I'm going to move all my little legs out of the way. And the body. Okay, I'm just going to take the head. And this is a real simple head, so it just has ears. So I'm just going to try this on and pin it. And see if I, like how it looks before I glue them down. So, it's supposed to be a horse. It kind of looks like a kangaroo. Okay, so I'm just looking to see how I need to place those ears. I think I need to come down a little. More to the side of the head. Maybe. Let me see. And I want to make sure that I have them, like starting on the same row. Okay, so that's going to be the muzzle, and then it's going to have, I'm going to do a mane, a strip of hair down the back of the head. So, come up a little and see. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And so I have my ears. I have them, like pinned at the same row. So I need to take the ear off to put the glue on it, right? So before I do that, I'm going to pin that the glue should not come anywhere above that. Well, I'm going to put my glue on this, on the ear itself, and stick it to this, but I'm just trying to show myself where the ear needs to stick. Okay, I'm going to kind of do the same thing over here. And also I want to make sure that I've got them on the same row, but I also want to make sure I have them the same distance from the eyes here. So you could count stitches. Kind of measure with your thumbs. I can kind of eyeball it and figure it out. But, I do want to make sure, so I'm going to stick some pins in there. And I'm making sure that my pins I've stuck in are also on the same row. So I know, like my ear needs to go in between these pins. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is take this ear, and this is the flat part right here where I'm going to put the glue, and this is my point of the ear up there. So I want to just kind of make my flat part. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is just put glue right here on the flat part and stick that right in between the pins that I put down. And so I'm going to hold that down so that it kind of gets that shape of the flat part of the ear. And I can take my pins out. Yeah, so that looks good. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to take the pin out, take my ear, and make sure that I have a little flat part there that's going to fit right here. I want to make sure that I'm not putting, glue like too far. I just want to put it right there where I want my flat part to be. So I'm kind of just squishing it so I have the flat part. It'll reshape after it sits on there, but I just want to make sure my glue doesn't go past those marks. So I'm going to put my glue on. It really doesn't take a whole lot of glue. You'd rather use a little bit, and you can hold it up and add a little more under there. So I'm going to kind of hold this down just a minute. Let that glue kind of sit just a little. Alright, so there's my ears. So it's not quite looking like a horse just yet. Here is the muzzle part. And it's kind of flared out. I wish that I had decreased a little. The pattern didn't call for decreasing, but I wish I had decreased a little bit to make that smaller, because it's kind of flared out a little, and that just kind of makes me a little bit nervous putting it on. But let me see where we want it. We want it kind of centered in this part where my yarn joins, and I have that just stuck in there. You can weave it in if you want to, but you're going to hot glue it down, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to put that part at the bottom. So here we go. Let's see. I want it down just a little bit below the eyes. Yeah, like here my eyes, and then there's another row that kind of under that, so I want to put it just under that row. I just think that looks best. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to kind of pin this on there. I'm just using some plastic tapestry needles just to kind of hold it in place and see. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick this on the body and just see how that kind of looks. And I realize my camera's, kind of close, but I really can't move it any higher. But I'm just trying to see, like, if that muzzle is too close to the body or how that looks. But you know what? It is what it is, and that's just the way it's going to be. So, I have my muzzle about even there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a pin here, because the muzzle needs to be inside that pin, and inside that pin, but I don't think I have it quite even, because that kind of comes in from the eye, and that kind of comes down, so let's see, can the muzzle fit? Yeah, that's a little better. I might need to do this in sections, because I don't know that I can cup the whole thing on there. I might can. Okay, and you can put pins all around it if you want to. I'm not on this because it kind of flares out. But as I'm gluing it on, I'm going to try to squeeze it in a little. And I won't be able to look at these pins and see that down there as I'm squeezing it in. And I'd probably glue it on top of those pins. So this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to practice first. Say I have my glue on here. I'm going to just stick that right there. So I'm just practicing where I'm going to put it. Let's see. Okay, so say I have glue there. I got to hold the head and the glue on this all at the same time. That's when I just feel like I might just need to do a section of it at a time. So if I had glue all on this and I just stuck it on here, I don't know. It makes me a little bit nervous. Because once the glue hits, it's there. You can't really pull it off without damaging your yarn and such. So you got to be really sure where you're putting it. So I'm just going to do a section of this at a time, I believe. It's going to be kind of hard to get up under there. But you can pull all those little strings off later. Yeah, what I was trying to say before I got a little bit distracted there. Doing the section at a time, it's going to be a little harder to get up under there to put the glue, but I just thought it would be a little safer to try to get it positioned correctly without trying to do it all at once. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue here and put it down, and then I'll do the sides. You do kind of have to hold it just a second. Try not to burn your fingers, but hold it just a second so that it sticks well. Okay, let's see. Now I'm just going to put some glue up under here and hold that down. It's just a little gap that needs some glue. And then you can pick all those little strings off, the little hot glue strands. I didn't have any up here, I don't believe. I will say this muzzle is a little bit more difficult to glue on than other things that I've made. Just because it did flare out so big. And I just wasn't sure about gluing that on. Okay, so there is the horse's muzzle. Let me make sure I did get it glued on all the way around. I did put a little more glue than I wish I had of, but you know, it is what it is. Trying to get all this glue off my fingers. Okay, So next I'm going to glue the head onto the body. So I think my best bet would be to put the glue here on the body and then kind of just hold my head, put it on, and hold it down to let the glue set. Yep. So that's what I'm going to do. Just making sure I got glue all the way around there. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my head and kind of position it on there. And then I'm just holding my head down on here. I'm kind of squishing it just a little bit. I'm just going to hold that there for a minute. Doesn't hurt to hold it a little bit longer just to make sure your glue is, drying and your head's going to stick. Okay, so let me just kind of look. Alright. Okay, so now we gotta talk about these limbs. I'm gonna do the bottom feet first and decide, look at your feet and decide which is what do you want on the inside versus what do you want facing on the outside. So I think mine are good like that. And so I'm going to put my legs something like this. So I do want to give it a little bit of a wide base so that it, I want the legs spread apart there so it can sit well. Okay, so I'm just looking at this, trying to line it up. I want the inside of the legs kind of lined up with the eyes, and that's just me. You can line yours up ever how you want to when you do a project. So I'm going to say, when I stick my leg on, it's going to go below that. So I think I can just put glue on here and then just stick it right below the stick pin. And that's what I'm going to do. You can see I'm just like haphazardly doing this. Not, not really stressing over it or anything like that. And I'm just going to hold that leg there. And I'm pushing in a little bit. Just giving it a chance to stick better. And the glue to, harden up a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to put glue on there and then just stick it. I do want to make sure I get them in about, the right. Okay, that's about where I want it. And then my arms are going to kind of go right here, so, or they could come to the front, or they could go to the side. I'll decide that in a moment. Let me get this leg on there. Pushing it in and holding it just a moment. Alright, well that's cute so far. Okay, so we need to put these arms on, and so I need to decide. Okay, so I want to look at my arms and see where I kind of joined and such, and I want that part to go, you know, under wherever I put the arms. I don't even see that on this arm, maybe right there. So I need to see, do I want to put the arms to the side or the arms to the front? I think I'm going to do them to the side. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it to the side. So what I'm going to do first is glue this shut. So I'm just going to put some glue right here on the inside and just glue that shut. And again, I'm just holding it to let the glue cool off. Okay. I'm just going to lay that right there so it can dry a little bit more while I do this one. That's going to go underneath. Okay. I'm just going to put a little glue right here. And just hold it closed. I used to sew my pieces onto my amigurumi, but you know, over time my hands have just gotten worse. They hurt a lot. It really hurts my hands and pains me to hold a needle like such as that. That grip, holding that and trying to be steady with it, you know, getting it in. It's actually sewing makes my hands hurt really bad. Plus my fingers are numb. So I just decided that hot glue was good enough for me. Okay, I'm going to keep these out just a second so I can see. Alright, I'll come down from the neck about, maybe about 4 rows. So let me see where the neck is and go down like 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just see how that looks. I should have had this already stuck in there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or does it need to come down another? Let me just look. I'm going to kind of, when I glue it, I'm going to kind of glue it as much as I can. Like that. But let me see. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then same thing over here. Looks too close to the head. Okay, so what I want to do is mark the row that the arm is going to go on. And the arm is just slightly, I have it positioned just slightly behind this. It could come up a little bit, maybe another stitch up. Okay, so I'm going to see where I'm actually going to glue that. Yeah, so I think that's actually where I'm going to put. I want it to hit right there. So I need to set this side up to do the same. And I'm just going around with my pins. I need to make sure these pins are, you know, it's kind of the same. And I'm kind of going by the outside of this leg just a little and coming straight up. And I'm just eyeballing it. But I want to come from the outside of the leg straight up. I don't want to put the arms too far back, but I don't want to put them too far forward. I want them just to come, these arms to come just past these legs. So, let me see about this side. I think I would be happy with that. I know the camera's kind of at an odd position, but I think I would be happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and kind of fold it that way a little, and I'm going to put glue all right here and then just hold that on there. So I'm kind of putting my glue on this top part, but also a little bit right here. And I'm bending this over to kind of give it a flat place to put that glue. Okay. And I'm just holding it in, holding it on there and pushing it down to let that glue cool off and stick real well. Okay. So it's there. I can take my pin out and, yeah, it's good. Okay, so I need to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to kind of take my arm and kind of fold it, push it that way. The little strands will drive me crazy until I get them all off, but I will get them all picked off. So I'm going to put glue here and a little bit right here, and then just stick it right there. Okay, that's the plan, man. You gotta kind of be quick before your glue does dry or start to cool off. Okay. So you can see that it's very easy to do this, and you know, I kind of just quickly haphazardly done it, so it's not anything, you know, like scientific to it or anything. But you just do want to you know, pin your pieces on, look at it, you know, maybe move them around till you're very, very happy with the position, and then maybe you know, pretend that you have glue on it and you're sticking it on there, just to see where you're going to be actually sticking it and practice that part just a little bit. I did use too much glue on the top of his muzzle there. I try not to use too much glue, but I actually did right there. That muzzle was just a little difficult, but I'm happy with his ears, his arms, and his legs. And so I'm gonna just put some hair right here and come down the back of his head, and then probably some for a tail. All right. Okay, I thought I would show you real quick how I'm just doing my hair, the mane on the horse and the tail. So I'm just using my mane color that I'm, making the hair out of. And I'm cutting mine about 8 inches. And I'm not really measuring that. I'm just kind of throwing it down there close to 8 and just cutting it, So it doesn't have to be exactly 8 inches. And then I'm just taking my strands, kind of holding it in half. And the way I've done this, I did like 3 across, and then I would do 2, and then 3, and then 2. So I kind of just mixed it up like that, and then I'm tapering off to 1. So I'm just putting my hook through, grabbing this yarn where I have it folded, pulling that up, and then I just pull it through. I'm just tightening it like that. So that's all I'm doing. And I've done the same thing for the tail. I just went in the opposite direction. Like this, I have the horse this way, and I'm pulling it like this. And then for the tail, I have the horse, I turn the horse this way, and I'm pulling it in this direction. So that's all I'm doing for that. And then you can go back if you want to and trim up your hair or anything. I'm going to kind of leave mine shaggy. I'm going to leave mine kind of shaggy, and it's not all the exact same length. Some are a little bit shorter in there, and I'm fine with that. And then for the mane on the head, trying to get it in camera, sorry. Just trying to hold it down and see how it's going to come down the back here. I'm just going to take a couple across the front and bring up in front of the ear. Let me see if I can get that better in camera. I'm sorry. And that's all I'm doing. Alright guys, I appreciate you all watching, and I'm going to add another clip to this showing the horse better. Probably be before this part. Okay, but thank you for watching. I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye, friends.